What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another video, and in this video we're just having a nice little discussion. Today we are talking about Matthew Stafford and his future with the Detroit Lions. So let's get it started. What is up, everyone? I'm glad you guys clicked on today's video. You made the right decision. And today there's no outline, there's no notes. We're just keeping it simple. Today we're just having a simple talk to talk, me to you, kind of. Meet the camera, but you see it. So how you doing? If you're back, hey, you know what? Wave. Now it's not awkward, okay? So what's up, everyone? Yeah, I'm glad you're watching once again. And today we're talking about Matthew Stafford. So this one, again, is going to be simple. It's not going to be a video where I try to make a case for Matthew Stafford based on what he's done with the Lions and what he came into and his ranking. I'm not going to do that. That's not today's video. I've done it before. I've probably done it in the comments a few times. But honestly, I'm kind of burnt out with that. Okay, I feel like I got my feelings out. And maybe we'll do one in episode number 2 of the Dodcast. We'll click the link in the description because that's probably going to be some episode 2. So if I do it now, it just kind of, ruins the whole point. I don't want to do it now either. I feel like I've done it a ton. If you guys want to see me make a case for him, I know how you do because, it's fun. It's fun to watch those. But I do have a lot of videos on that. So if you look up Dose of D on Matthew Stafford, you probably can find tons of videos like that. But today, that's not what this is. All right, that's not what this is for today's video. It's just simply talking about what his future would look like for the Lions. And I've said this in videos a few times, but I haven't made a simple video about him. And I've said it in the comments before, but again, I haven't made a video dedicated to this subject. So the reason that this become popular this year, I would say, is because there was an ESPN article put out that ranked the commitments of NFL teams to their quarterback, to their starting quarterback. And they had the Lions ranked all the way at 27. All the way at 27, when last year they had him ranked at 7. Now, his reasoning is because of the contract. He says this: the Lions are paying Stafford $15 million this year, and nothing is guaranteed after that. In fact, as the restructure of Matthew Stafford did in December, $7.2 million of that $15 million is now an option bonus tied to 2023 on his contract. And the Lions have until the day before the first game of the 2020 season to decide whether they want to exercise it. If they don't exercise it, that $7.2 million gets added to his 2020 salary. So if he gets he'll get $15 million either way. And the 2023 voids no matter what. So this is just a salary cap manipulation move. He also goes on to talk about how he doesn't believe the Lions will trade Stafford. So basically, he thinks there's a possible way. He doesn't think it will happen, but he also knows that there's a possible way the Lions could do it before the season, and it wouldn't hurt them too much financially. That's kind of his point, and then how the future looks like of the contract. He could see the Detroit Lions maybe not be locked into him. And I think the reason that this is, I'm going to keep it simple. The reason I think this is, the rankings are so low is because there's a reason you went from 7 to 27. The contract does have a factor, but I don't think it's much of a factor to drop you down 20 spots in rankings. I think really the reason that he's fell so far is simply because we don't know what the future looks like of Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn. We don't know their future. And if we don't know their future, we don't know Matthew Stafford's future, right? That's like, okay, you don't know what an employee's future looks like. Well, if you don't know what the boss's future looks like, then we have no idea what the employee's going to look like, because once that new boss comes in, what the heck is he going to think about the employee, right? So at that point, now we don't know what the Lions are feeling with Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn. And this is why I've said it time and time again. I've jumped on the thought of, okay, during the season, mid-season, it's easy. And I've talked about this on the podcast, so if you guys want to see me really talk about it, go check that out. But during the season, mid-season, everybody's emotional, and you're like, get him out of here. But then when you got to take a step back, you got to look and say, okay, if the Lions really do move on from Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn, I'm not saying that you're stuck in a position where you can't, because if they just keep getting worse and worse, at some point you have to make the decision. But if they improve, or they're getting a little bit better here and there, you have to keep these guys around. And the reason being is that because once you don't, the chance of Matthew Stafford being here again is very low. I don't know if Matthew Stafford makes it past 2020 if Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn don't. If they don't, and a new GM comes in, and a new coach comes in, and they're looking at Stafford and they're saying, well, we kind of have an out. We could do this and it wouldn't hurt too bad financially. Our dead cap goes way down. We might be able to make a move here and try to kind of restart, just kind of rebuild this whole team at this point. And that could be the case. And if that is the case, that's not good. That's not good for the Detroit Lions whatsoever. So hopefully that isn't the case. And we need Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn to be successful, so that's not the case. And the reason I say that is because some people are going to be in the comments and be like, oh, well, that's a good thing because we need to trade Stafford. All right, if you're going to come at me and tell me Stafford ain't good, you're just trolling. Let's be real here. And secondly, people make it seem like just because you don't want a new quarterback and you're like, all right, let's just go draft one high and we'll have a good quarterback, it works out. It doesn't. And the reason I'm going to say this is that I literally have a video. I will link it in the top of the comment section. Okay, it's Stop Taking Stafford for Granted. And the reason I titled it that back then was simple. That's how I felt. And the reason I say that is because if you watch that video, I go through year by year by year. Every year the Lions could have replaced Matthew Stafford. And when you look at all the quarterbacks that got taken, you're going to be like, wow, that's not that good. And it's not. It's really not. Okay? The Detroit Lions are in a situation where it's not just, hey, I can just take a quarterback and I'm good to go. We got a quarterback. if no one's in that situation, all right? You know how many bad quarterbacks come out every year? Some years, there isn't a starting quarterback that comes out. Crazy, I know. And some years, it's not the top quarterback. It's like a second-round quarterback or a third-round quarterback that turns out well. It's crazy. You have no idea. It is so hard to guess where a quarterback's, going to work out. So to just say, let's just go get a new quarterback and we'll be fine because, this team did it. Well, the odds of that actually working are pretty darn low. I mean, extremely low. And if you guys want to hear that, like I can really explain it in that video. So I'll link in the top of the description. The odds are so low on finding a quarterback, especially one that's going to be better than Matthew Stafford. So it's not just, I want a new quarterback, I'm going to go get one, we're going to move Stafford. You're in a completely different situation. If you guys don't like rebuilds, oh my gosh. If Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn are gone, the rebuild may be undergoing. The rebuild may start, okay? And now he talks about, 2020. I'm going to throw this out there quick. The Lions are not trading Stafford before 2020. If they did that, they would literally be saying, hey, please fire me. Please, hey, Martha, please get rid of me. I don't know what I'm doing. Because that would make no sense, all right? At least if you're going to do it before the drafts. So at least you can draft someone and hope that it works out, okay? But don't do it right before the season. What are we going to do? Throw Chase Daniel in there and have him start? And then what, David Ball backs in? Oh, my gosh, please don't tell me that's the case. I just won't do that. That would be a mistake. It's really, for me at this point, past 2020. 2021, what does his future like then? 2020 is going to be here. I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to be here. Matt Patricia called it laughable, and he should say it's laughable because it is laughable. There is literally no reason for him to trade. It just doesn't make any sense. One of the reasons that he said he actually came to Detroit was because of the fact that Matthew Stafford was here, okay? And he has a quarterback that, he trusts and he believes in. He's raved and praised Matthew Stafford multiple times. You can say, well, every coach does that. Do they really go to a team just because of a quarterback, though? Every coach? I mean, not really. So he's not going to be gone after 2020. I don't know if Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn are necessarily trying to replace him if they stay around. It really depends on, how he looks. But if he looks like he did last year, I mean, there's no way they're going to try to replace him. They know quarterbacks can play till they're 40. All right, if you keep him healthy, you keep a team around him, these quarterbacks can go for a long time. And this is Matthew Stafford's prime, all right? 32 years old. This is when quarterbacks start to figure it out, man. And really, they know everything. They may not be the most athletic they've ever been, but they really figure it out. And I even have a video on that with Daryl Bevel. He looks really good and really smart. And if he comes back and he gives you a year like that next year, not even as good, just almost like that for a full year, all of a sudden you're saying, oh my gosh, we got a beast. We have a beast. And I would be shocked if Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn try to move him. They would just keep trying to build a supporting cast around him because that is the hardest piece to find. It's the hardest piece. It really is, all right? The hardest piece to find is a quarterback, and the Lions think they have one. So 2020 is going to be here. The real question is, what does Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn's future like? Because I feel like if their future is good and the Lions are successful, they're going to continue to build around Stafford. Stafford could be here at least through his contract, and then maybe questions will come up, but I think he's going to be around for a while because, again, they know that old quarterbacks can play a while. They were with Tom Brady. They know they can. The question is, what does their future look like? Because if their future is bleak, oh snap, now we don't know what the heck Stafford's future looks like because we just don't know. We don't know because we don't know who's making those decisions. So I would say that's kind of my thoughts. I think it's really just about that. The contract is what it is, but at the end of the day, you're going to keep a quarterback that you believe in unless those coaches are gone because they clearly believe in him. So I hope Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn's future works. I hope it does. I know some people aren't really buying into him, and I understand why not. I don't think he's shown you a ton, but I do think there are good things to look at. And I think, if you really dig deep, I think there's some good things. I even made a video on why I believe in Patricia. I think there's reasons to also believe in him, and he needs to show us, right? He definitely needs to show us, and we need to be successful. But at the same time, he needs Stafford to be healthy. The defense needs to be better. He's got to show us. And I think next year's a really good chance with, kind of addition by subtraction. Now you're getting Stafford back, a year or two, Daryl Bevel. I think he can show us what he can do. But at the same time, I feel like we should all be like riding for Matt Patricia, especially if you're a Stafford fan. If you want Stafford here and you're not riding with Patricia, I feel like you got to get on, man. I feel like you got to hop on the bus. You got to hop on the train, the wagon, whatever we're riding on. I don't know what we're riding on. I don't know what it... Oh, snap. A roller coaster? You got to hop on a roller coaster because if you want Stafford here, you're going to want Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn here. I'm just saying. The odds, I'm not saying that if we go get a new coach, Matthew Stafford won't make it through, and he won't stay with the next coach because maybe you're going to coach that he loves, and he's like, oh my gosh, I want to be here because of Stafford. But at the same time, now all of a sudden he's looking at it, he's saying, okay, here's my first year. Unless he's like one of those lucky positions where he comes in, he's like, I like all the players here, it works out. He's going to be like, okay, yeah, okay, I like some of these players. Got to figure out which one I like. That'll be year one. And year two, he's trying to get rid of those players. And it's going to be like, oh my gosh, we're doing this again. And by the time he's in year three, Stafford's contract's up. And we're like, what the heck is going on? Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want that. We need Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn to prove it and show us that they can be our coach and GM. So I'm rooting for them because I'm rooting for Stafford. And, you know, I think they can be great together. I really do. So let me know your thoughts, comments below. Those are just my thoughts. Thank you, Prop, for watching. I don't know what I'm doing here, but we're getting hyped now. And I'm